So today I'm not in my kitchen. I'm actually next door in my grandmother's kitchen, and there's several different things going on. So Grandma's getting a perm, and I am going to learn how to make chicken and dumplings. So I'm going to teach you how to make them as well. This is Rosa, and she taught me how to make biscuits yesterday. So today we're going to learn how to make chicken and dumplings.
Okay, this is a very simple method. What I've done here already is boiled one large chicken breast and taking it off the bone. I like to use the chicken breast that's on the bone because I feel like it has more flavor than the boneless breast. So I've already got this cooking at a low simmer. I took it off the bone and put the chicken breast meat back in the broth. And you want to have it simmering low. So we're just going to make a small pot of dumplings for maybe like 2 adults and a couple of kids. It's very simple. I'm just going to do a quick, easy method. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of self-rising flour. This has already been sifted. It doesn't actually have to be sifted, but if you're in a big hurry, but this has been sifted. And I'm just kind of roughly guessing at this. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of Crisco shortening. You can use other brands, but this is my favorite. I'm going to scoop it out in the self-rising flour. And if you'll grab me a fork over there, Keisha. Okay. I'm going to blend that shortening in the flour a little bit. Just kind of mash it up in there. And if you're making a large pot, like for a big family, then all you have to do is double your ingredients. So after I've got that shortening blended in a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit of ice water. And this is normally what you do for like your pie crust. Makes them flakier. You want it to be wet. So you just kind of guess at your water till you get it the consistency that you want. And as you do that, you can blend your shortening in it as well a little more. And there's really no right or wrong way to do this. If you get too much water, you can always just add a little bit more flour when you're rolling them out. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and if you're making, like I said, if you're making a bunch for a big group, then you'll want to use more area in your kitchen as you roll them out. I've just got one small piece of wax paper. You can use parchment paper. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the paper. Just quick and easy so you don't have to spend all day doing it. I'm going to scrape my dough out. I'm just going to go ahead and get it all out there. Make sure those are simmering. You can put a little more flour. So. Okay, now you can use a large rolling pin, but if you're working in a small area, you can get a small glass, which I'm going to do right now. Whatever has a smooth surface on it so that you can roll them out smooth. This can get messy. Just kind of keep your flour so that your dumplings aren't like sticking to your glass or your rolling pin. And you want to roll these out nice and flat. You may have to use a little more flour, just kind of use your own judgment there. You want to make sure your chicken is at a good simmer, because when you put your dumplings in, you want your broth to be good and hot, because you want them to go ahead and start cooking right away as soon as you start dropping them in. It's nice and flat. So what I usually do is just take a regular old butter knife and just kind of cut them in strips. If they stick a little bit to your paper, you can just kind of pull them loose and add a little more flour. And you can kind of cut them as you go. Now what I do is I just take the small pieces, put them over your broth, and I just break them in small pieces. I don't like real big, doughy dumplings. I tend to like mine more flat, almost like noodles. But if you've got your broth simmering a little bit, they're going to go ahead and start cooking as you drop them in. Just break your dough up in small pieces. And as you add more flour to the dumplings that you've got cut out, it's going to cause your broth to thicken up a little better. So you're going to want it to be a little thick and cook up nice, and then you got nice, good, perfect dumplings. Don't worry about the extra flour on the stove. It'll clean up good. So this is something you can do really in under an hour. You get your chicken breast cooked, which would take 30 minutes or so, and get it off the bone, and in just a few minutes to make your dumplings. And once your broth is simmering good, then you can pinch your dumplings off a little faster. Don't stir them. If you stir them right away, that tends to make your dumplings fall apart. You want to let them start cooking a little bit. I guess this is what Keisha and her boys will be having for supper.
We'll be soon. This is something good for me to make on a Saturday for us to have on Sunday. I don't cook on Sundays.
Yeah, and they are really good the next day. What I do is I normally add a little extra chicken broth to them the next day, or you can just add a little water, because they will thicken after you put them in the refrigerator. So just add a little chicken broth or a little water to them to
What are you making?
I am making chicken and dumplings.
Woo.
These are really good on a cool rainy day or a winter day. And you can feed a lot of people with a big old pot of chicken and dumplings and not put a lot of time into it. So there you go. They're all made and they're in the pot. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my burner down just a little bit, and I'm going to put the lid on the pot, and I'm going to let them simmer for a few minutes. And then after they simmer for a few minutes, I'm going to turn my burner off, and I'm going to let them sit a little while before I actually eat them, because as they sit, the broth will thicken up, and then they'll have a lot more consistency, and they'll be ready to serve with some of those good hot homemade biscuits that you
Yeah.
brought to bake.
So about how long do you gonna let that do that?
About 10 minutes.
10
maybe.
minutes,
Maybe
okay.
about 10 minutes, and then I'm just going to set them off of the burner.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to let them sit for an hour or a couple hours till whenever you get ready to serve them for dinner. Then I'm going to warm them back up. Okay, we're ready to check our dumplings. Now they've cooked up nicely. I'm just going to stir them up a little bit. And then I'm going to just turn my burner off. And I'm just going to let them sit and just simmer and cool. And as they do, the broth will thicken up. And a lot of people like their broth a little more runny like that, but I like them once it thickens up. And that extra flour in there is what's going to cause them to thicken up. And they'll be ready to serve with those hot biscuits.
Many thanks to Rosa for educating me on this, because I've had nobody to show me that. And so next time you and I will make chicken and dumplings together in my kitchen.